Thank you for being here. I know it's late in the day. How many of you came last session? Okay, so there are a good many people who didn't. If you weren't out here last session, do you have a handout? It's just one handout for the whole deal. And so that's our last one. That's good that you got it. I'm glad. But does anybody not have a handout then? Okay, great. So if any, I could easily I could email it to people. And if you would like, I'll be emailing a lot more information if you want to just give me your email address. And in so doing, if you don't, I would like to be able to put you on my email list to get just information when we have meetings about dyslexia, but I know you may not be about dyslexia, but it's just all about learning. Is it okay if you're on here, and if you've signed it and you don't want to get it, what if you just put, please don't put me on your list, okay? But anyhow, okay, so sign that. That's good. All right. So for those of you who were not here the first hour, I just wanted to talk a little bit about, I'm a speech pathologist and have been for 45 years, and I just love doing this. And I appreciate, my husband always says that if people just knew that I would pay them to listen to me. But we're talking about these there are 3 keys to success. And the first one is what we talked about last hour, the spa, like when you have your brain relaxed, like in a spa. And if you missed that, you could watch my Build a Better Brain video on YouTube, plus we'll have today's on video, but it already is online. And then swag is what we're going to talk about studying with all of your brain working. And and then getting hooked on audiobooks is the third of my magic keys to build a foundation in your brain for language. So let's look at our brain. Oh, and can somebody cut off the white light there? The one on the right. So here is your brain, and we're going to talk about the parts of your brain that we're going to use. So what if I want you to touch the back of your brain and yell, sing! Sing! Because when we sing, the occipital lobes light up, and they have to light up or you're not seeing. And talking and hearing above your ears. Talking and hearing. And touching and moving. And what shape did that give us? Yeah, y'all are excellent. And then we're going to add a part to that triangle, the CEO of your brain. So what if we start right between your eyes, and let's say CEO. CEO. And let's say thinking and learning. Thinking and learning. Yeah, so it's everything that an executive of a company would do to make a plan. Like to make a plan. They call it Hill, Skill, and Will. Like Hill, you make a plan of what you want, your goal. This is in this part of your brain. The skill, this is where this is the part of your brain that's going to be important for getting the skills. And will is this part of your brain is that's going to keep you going to not give up. And so that's what everything we're going to talk about right now is going to be about. Swag. Swag, that stands for study with all gears. And I've talked to, most of y'all know about this from earlier, but there's this thing called Hebb's Law. Donald Hebb, H-E-B-B, published a book in 1949. He was a psychologist from Canada. And his famous saying is, so these are the neurons in your brain, like we had them flaming up. So let's all get our neurons up here. And this is Hebb's Law. Let's say, neurons that fire together, wire together. So the magic key is going to be doing everything physical. This helps in every subject. I could be teaching this to a kindergartner and to a medical student at the same time, although it might seem odd, but it's the same thing. These strategies work for everybody. And if we're out of handouts, do you have one? You have one? Oh, good. Good. But these strategies, it's going to be all about making learning physical. And just one little thing, like 3D books. You know, I would just always recommend that you, and the heart is beating, I don't know if you can hear it, but to just try to get books that you can touch and move. go to the library and just getting books that you can move the parts, because when you're doing this, the kids, struggling students, anybody, dyslexic, if I just say dyslexic students who are going to be brilliant and smart, they think in 3D. That's why they think of the most amazing ideas. And they are 35% of all entrepreneurs are dyslexic. And if anybody ever sees Shark Tank, Barbara Corcoran is major dyslexic. Barbara Corcoran, who's on the panel, and Damon Johns, and at least 35% of everybody on that show is dyslexic because they have the great ideas. The guy that invented the Segway people mover is dyslexic. And if you recall, the Segway, people thought that was like weird at first. They always think it's weird because dyslexic people think differently, and so they think in 3D. I guess that's what got me off on that. And so thinking in 3D is always just going to help. And you don't have to be dyslexic for this to work, though. This all works for everybody, for every grade, every subject. It works. Just thinking of now I've got to get it the right place in my handout. Okay. We're going to think about using our body. The whole deal is you want to use your whole body to learn, to put learning in. Like one way that I like to do it is just like using if you were learning anything about the states, like states and their capitals, having something you can touch and move, just manipulatives, but touching, talking. What if you were putting pieces in the map? How could you do it to make sure that you're making that magic triangle work? How can we make seeing work? Are we looking at it? And if we're talking, we're going to say what if we all say, I got to find one I really know the capital of. Idaho, is it Boise? Okay, yay. What if we were going to say Boise? We're going to make all the movement we can while we're learning this state and the capital. So what if we say Boise, Idaho, and then you put it in. We're making that major triangle work, and we'll talk more about that later. Now, we're going to talk about syllables, and this is a multisensory, a magic triangle way of, and can you see okay? I feel like, you okay over there? Okay, a syllable, this is going to be a definition using your hands and your body. So let's all say this together. We're going to say a syllable is a word or a part of a word with one vowel sound. And so I tell the student that when I say vowel, I say, V, this is just a V for the word vowel, but that V is not a vowel. I would point that out. But so let's do that again. A syllable is a word or a part of a word with one vowel sound. Okay, so this is just a physical way of doing that, and it leads to this about an I bridge. I'm going to need a volunteer in a second, but there's this deal. I'm real big on what I call an I bridge, and what it's all about is that when we look at it, when we make an I bridge with someone, like when we're talking, it's like, I'm going to throw this to you. Okay, we're going to make like this connection with our eyes. Okay, and so with my students, especially if somebody is struggling with this, I would be writing it. I would be saying here are here are your eyes, and I hope I can erase this later. I'm going to make this bridge go over here, and somebody else's eyes. But let's pretend like they're straight, and that when we talk, we make like a bridge from my eyes to your eyes, and my words walk, help me walk it. Walk to get into your brain, and then your words walk to get into my brain. And so what would happen, I wonder, if I was talking to you and I'm saying, I'm so glad you're here. This is just great. Am I making a very good eye bridge? No. Oh my gosh, what happened to the bridge? Oh, it broke. Oh, it broke. And what happened to all our words? They fell down into the water. And you know who was in the water? Yes, there was an alligator. And there was also this vicious, mean-looking shark who ate up all our words. So they're going to eat our words. And so can you listen? Can you learn very well if your teacher's words are all falling into the water and getting eaten up by the sharks? No, we can't. And what if we do? How about if I have you up here? Let's see. I'm going to give you this ball to hold, and I need another person. If somebody else will come up, and we're going to hold hands. We're going to make a bridge. So this is our I bridge because we're talking and our words are walking. So can you put the ball up on our bridge and just let go of it? And so I'm going to walk my words into your brain, and I want you to walk your words into my brain. And then what if we quit looking? What happened to our words? They fell in the water. Okay, so this, for one thing, I would want to tell our students or you that when you're in school, when you're anywhere and you're supposed to be listening, I want you to glue your eyes to the teacher. Sometimes you might have to make notes or look down, or sometimes they're looking away, but I still want you to glue your eyes, because then you're going to get all those words into your brain, and when you go home, of course y'all are in homeschool, so but when you finish your lessons, you can finish them faster and have more time to play. The whole point of this, the whole point of everything that I'm talking about, is I want you to get more success with less stress and have more time to play. Would everybody like that? Yes, and you could do that. So if you just glue your eyes, you're going to learn more, and you're going to also be making an emotional connection, which makes a real difference. Because if you don't, I'm sure everybody's had experiences with somebody that just doesn't look at you, and you don't get the emotional connection. There was a teenage boy years ago that I was seeing him for another issue, an orthodontic issue actually, but he wasn't looking at me, and I mentioned it to him, and I showed him about the eye bridge. I actually have copyright on that, but you can have it. But it was something that I presented and published. But I told him about it, and the next week when he came back, he just volunteered. As he was leaving out the door, he just said, "I've been happier this week." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Because I've been making an eye bridge." He said, "I've been looking at people." Because it's that emotional connection, which is really important. It's all important. Okay, so then I've come up with this other idea. God is good to give us ideas about the eye bridge being like stepping stones to the vowels. Because how many of you or you see a student sometime that just sort of reads the beginning and the ending of the word maybe and wings it on the middle? Yeah, I'm getting some nods. And so I taught this to a boy that was 16 and brilliant at Vestavia High School. I taught him this about making an eye bridge with the vowels, because I told him, well, I didn't tell him this then, but now I'm thinking of them as stepping stones through the word. Like if you have a long word, I want you to picture that each vowel is like if you were trying to get across a creek and not get your feet wet, and you're stepping on rocks or something. I want you to picture that every vowel, and what are the vowels? Can we all say them? A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. Yay, good. And so when I made the point to him, back to our definition of what is a syllable, can you tell me? A syllable is a word or a part of a word with one vowel sound. So every time you see a vowel, except for if it's in silent E at the end, you're going to have another syllable. But it's really when you hear a vowel. But every syllable has to have a printed vowel in it. Every syllable does. And so anyway, that could get complicated. But basically I just made this up a few years ago because this is not, I want to say one other thing. What if somebody's really struggling with reading or spelling or writing? They really need more than what I'm telling you. I'm going to be telling you more like the after 45 years of doing this, with the tricks and the hints that I've learned that help, but they're not the nitty-gritty that you need. What you need is Orton-Gillingham-based instruction. Samuel Orton, O-R-T-O-N, Gillingham-based instruction, and there are a lot of programs that are Orton-Gillingham, but MSLE, if you were to Google that, that's with the state. We're in the process of working with the State Department of Education and board and the legislature to get them to do wonderful things for dyslexia. And I pray that it's going to happen. If any of y'all can come July 14th to Montgomery to our public hearing, I know that you're not in the public schools, but it would help the whole state. I mean, if anybody just wants to help, we would love to have you there, because we need a showing. We need a good showing, because we need for them to be helping these students more. So, but anyway, so this boy, he was so smart, and he would just wing it on the words. He'd read real hard books, but he was making up half the words in the book. And so I told him this thing about just look at every vowel to get through the word. So the next week, again, like that other young man, he just volunteered. He said, I've been reading better this week. And I said, why? And he said, because I've been making an I bridge with the vowels. It's incredible how much it helps. And I'm going to show you, let's see, I'm going to show you a little bit about that, but these are small. This is a word that I don't think anybody's going to know, and so that's a good thing. But is there anybody here that doesn't think they're a great reader, that would not mind coming up? Can you do it? Yay. Because this is a hard word that nobody in here knows. But I want you to touch the vowels. Can you touch the vowels and say the word? Like if it was going to be this one, I would be doing like ribbon, but there's something I would say about that too. Ribbon. I would just say the word as I go, or I might say, like, do this one, touch the vowels and read that one.
Neon.
Good. And let's do
panic.
Perfect. Now we're going to move up to the big leagues.
Tintinabulation.
Right. So what was that word?
Tintinabulation.
Yes. And anybody know what that means? I got it off Dictionary Word of the Day. I wanted to find the hardest thing I could find. It means the sound of tinkling bells.
Oh.
Tinkling bells. So what is the sound of tinkling bells?
Tintinabulation.
How cool is that? Okay, let's do another one. But you might just know this when you see it.
Extraordinary.
Perfect. Awesome. So this is just incredible. It's incredible. How about this one?
Expedition.
Good. And I would be telling people, if I forgot, but you knew it anyway, that tion is just going to be shun. And I would just touch it, even though it has two vowels. It's just what they call a final stable syllable. That's shun. Tion is shun. And it's going to always be a thing. That's cool to know. Did you know that? It's always a thing. And so it'd be nice if they had told us that. And another thing that would have been nice to know, thank you, you did fabulous. Like, here we go with this deal about tion. If you were doing, I'm just going to be doing a lot of stuff. Do you mind? Is this okay? Because it may seem disjointed. But I love paper plates. I love paper plates. And so, because you can move them, you can throw them, you can write on them, you can step on them, you can do everything to them, because it's all about making it physical. So tion, if a child had a bunch of spelling words with any kind of, if there's a certain ending that might be in all of them that is tricky, maybe it's all about feeling safe. So how many of you did not come to my first talk? I forgot. Okay, so I wish if y'all might watch it on YouTube, you can watch Build a Better Brain, and it's on YouTube, and because it's really important about keeping your brain feeling safe. That's like the big deal. Your brain has to feel safe or it'll shut down, which it'll go into fight or flight, and then you just can't think. So that's important. So this would be a thing about keeping your amygdala, protecting your amygdala to keep it feeling safe. I would just put this out here and say, okay, these words are going to have whatever this ending is, and I say tion. It's just always going to say shun, and it's always a thing. And I might point out a little trick to say that the word thing starts with a T, and the shun starts with a T, so that's just to help you know that. But what about this one? If you know what this is, don't say it, okay? But, I mean, it's the word, it's going to be shun, but if you know what it means about, don't tell me yet. But what is this word? Yeah, what about a magician, if we put that? What is a magician? A person who does magic, yes. What about mort? Mort means death. Mortician. What is a mortician? A person, yeah, who works like maybe in the funeral home. And then, what is this word? Yeah, and so what about a musician? Is a person who plays music. So did you know that a shun this way is always a person? And it's the only way to spell it if it's a person. That would be nice to have known that from early on. That if it's shun, if it's a person, it's always spelled this way. So I would maybe put both of these out. And the little trick for that is people are in the CIA. Okay? Can you tell me people are in the CIA? Let's say it. People are in the CIA. Okay, and if your child doesn't know what that is, make it a big deal and fun and look them up and, you know, and so make that fun. So it's just a trick to remember, because otherwise the student also often might start the C, but they might say C-I-O-N, because after knowing this one, you know, it's pretty easy to write that wrong, C-I-O-N, because you just think of this one. So if people are in the CIA, make it a big deal. So, okay, so anyway, so then if I threw you some words to write, what if we use a paper plate right now? What if we might end up having more. Get your marker and a paper plate. What if we're going to do a strategy that's later in your handout, but it doesn't matter. You don't need to look at it. But the steps are there. I'm going to throw a word to you, and I'm going to want you to catch it with your non-writing hand, because your writing hand is going to be busy writing, but not yet. In fact, you don't really need your marker out. I mean, you have it, but don't have it ready yet, because we're going to do the steps first. I forgot. Okay, so you're going to catch this word in your non-writing hand. So I'm going to throw you electrician. Okay, electrician, like he is an electrician, and I want you to say electrician. Electrician. Perfect. Now I'm going to want you to, we're going to do what's called duck talk. Okay? Duck talk is when you cannot, it's just a way to find the syllables in the word, but it's more fun because a lot of people do it this way, like clapping, electrician, but this only works if you already know. Because you can say electrician. You know, it doesn't connect physically. That magic triangle, I want everything to connect physically to the reality of that word, and this doesn't. But this duck talk does. Okay, and this doesn't, like a lot of them teach you like this. But do you say electricity? I mean, you really don't talk like that. And so that to me is not physical duck talk. So this time I'm going to either say, I'm going to use duck talk. I'm either going to say football or basketball, but in duck talk you cannot open your mouth. You say it real loud inside your mouth. So either football or basketball. Okay, tell me what I'm saying. Y'all are so good. How did you know? Yes, good. Good. Can you do one for me? Can you do either say Alabama or Georgia real loud, but duck talk? What'd she say? Alabama. How cool. Y'all are so good at duck talk. So now we're going to do electrician with duck talk. So, and let's do it down our arm while we're at it. Yeah. Because I'm always going to end up here and I'm always going to start here. I forgot to tell y'all this. So, okay. So now let's say the word down our arm. And since we know, what does electrician really start with? We know it's an E, so we're really going to say it for spelling electrician, even though you might say electrician or you know, we're going to say it the spelling way because that's kind of cheating, but you've got to. So let's do it again. Electrician. Okay. So now, what did this part say? E. Okay. Good. Now you're going to take that hand. I said you're going to spelling hand, not the writing. Okay. And we're going to have that E is in your fist. Have you got it in your fist? Close it up tight. Okay, and we're going to let the sounds of that syllable out, starting at our thumb, and say it. So look, what sound did it say? E. Oh, and how do you? And what sound? What letter do you hear for E? E. Oh, you were really good. So now I want you to write E on your paper plate, but just the E, and start on the side to give yourself plenty of room to get electrician across it. So write E and write it out loud, because this is magic triangle. Say E. Okay, good. Now put your marker down, and we're going to find the next syllable. Let's say what did that one say? Lek. Good. Let's let lek out of our hand. O, E. Now letters. L, E, C. So we're just going to let those syllables. I'm sorry, I'm going too fast, but yeah, we're going to let it out and say. Let's let it out again with sounds. O, E, K. Now letters. L, E, C. Good, and write it out loud. L, and the louder the better. Because we want all of this to, we want your brain to hear you. And we want it big. We want everything big, loud, crazy, sparkles, fireworks. You know, the bigger the better, the more physical the better. Jumping it, better. You know, anything. L-E-C, can we do that? L-E-C. Yeah, just, you know, anything you do. Because when you do that again, feel your body's getting the message even stronger. Let's do it. L-E-C. Yeah, you can hear it, you can feel it, these muscles are big. You know, anytime in any subject you or your child is struggling with anything, make it more physical. Okay? And just make it more physical. Okay, so let's go back to our arm. Electric. Okay, what did this part say? Trick. Good. Now, if that's hard to hear, sometimes people have a hard time breaking apart those sounds. So I might even take a slinky and I would demonstrate it maybe, especially if they have trouble. And I might go like, t, r, I. I mean, because you don't really hear t, r, I. You hear tr. And in fact, it sounds like what? Sounds like a CH. And that's what, if people are having trouble, that's what they spell it a lot, CH. So I would even tell them, it sounds like ch, but oh my gosh, it's not. It's going to be really t, r, I. And then I would ask them to do it. So can you do t, r, I? I want you to let those sounds out really slow. T. Yeah, very good. You got it. Let's do it again on that t, on the t. I'm going to want you to keep it real quiet. Like I'm going to take my scissors here and cut it off right at your lips, because we're only going to let out the t. Okay? So let's do it again. Can I do it? And I'm going to pretend. T, r, I. Perfect. Good. Let's do it again. T, r, I. And you know, we're going to even break apart the t and the r. Even though in real talking we say tr, so it's glued together in real talk, but we're going to take them apart. We're going to do t, and we even make it even quieter. T. Yes, just air. Good. T, r, I. Good. T, r, I. Good. Good. So what were those? Okay, good. So now what if you do it on your hand for me? T, r, I. Good. Now letters. R, I. Good. Write it out loud. And you did a good job. Yay. Woo. So write your T, R, and I love that you're doing it out loud. That's so good. So good. T, R, I. Good. Good. So, and if those of you who are in the spa talk, when I'm talking about saving face, I'm all about that. Like if something is not just perfect, it is perfect. You know? And no matter what, because you've never done this before. You know, and you're not expected to do it, and you did it fine anyway. But I wanted to take the example because it's very hard to pull apart blends like that, because we hear tr. I mean, it's so it's like a foreign mission field away from T or I. It so doesn't sound like it. So we just have to break it apart and show them and demonstrate it and make it happen. And so that's really, really good. Okay, so then what have we got? Electrician. Ooh, and how are we going to? And we're not going to let shun out of our hand because it just doesn't work well. Because we just already know an electrician, let's see, is it a thing for the tion, or is it a C-I-A-N? Is it a person? So good, so we're going to just touch him. We say C-I-A-N, tion. Yeah, because it's just C-I-A-N. Okay, so can you write that out loud? Or did you already? Yes. Woo! Okay, you are so good. So now what if you take what you wrote, and I want you to stand up if you can, and I want you to throw it and yell, "Electrician! Electrician! Woo! Yay! Awesome! Awesome! Awesome!" So that's part of why I love paper plates. You can throw them. Sam's has better throwing paper plates. I know that's funny, but it's true. I mean, we moved to Costco, and I've been mourning my paper plates ever since. I mean, I have people buy them. I have like a hotline. People bring me paper plates from Sam's because you can't find. They don't throw as well, and these are not Sam's. They're not throwing so well. But Sam's plate is going to go across the room. So I want our kids thinking of paper plates, using them to help them see how words break down into meaningful parts. Oh, and before we do that, some of y'all have an index card with a word on it. This is yeah, but some of you may not. It was one of these colored index cards. If you have one, gosh, I know we don't have time to really do what I wanted to do, but somebody get up and read one to me real fast. Anybody? Debit. Does anybody have something that goes? So there's going to be somebody that has a word like debit, but it's good. What's your word? Debt. Good. Who has the word with a silent letter in it? Yeah, debt. Good. So what? Oh, can you bring it up here? Can y'all bring those two up here? Because I don't know how far I can go with this. Thanks. So the cool thing, okay, these are all going to be words that have. One has a silent letter, and the other, it is like the silent B, like comes out of the closet. To be debit, and and it's because and I always have to say that because it perks people up. Anything to get your attention. I do what it takes. So who else has who else has a word? And go ahead and tell us. Sign. Okay, where's your silent letter? Okay, does anybody have one? There may be a couple of people. Signal and?
Receipt. Signage.
Oh, good. Signage. Do you have a silent G or not? Signage.
Yes, silent G.
Good. So you both have silent G's. And what was yours?
Receipt.
Receipt. Oh, okay. So that's a new word. Good. So, okay. So let me have the sign ones. And hold on. We're going to let that one be next. Okay. Can I have these from you? So the cool thing to help students see is like they see a word like signage or sign and they think, why does it have to have that silent G in there? I mean, like, but to show them, oh yeah, what was yours?
Signature.
Yes, signature. Did the G come out of the closet? Yes. So it's cool to let the students see that G has a meaning. That I like to tell the students is the history of the world is hiding in the spelling. I used to say that with one of my Google. I want you to write down Molly Schaefer, Peter Pan. Write that down and Google it later. I'm going to tell you about Molly. Molly, M-O-L-L-I-E, and Schaefer is S-C-H-A-E-F-E-R. Peter Pan. Google that. S-C-H. Just Peter Pan. Yeah, Peter Pan. But Molly is back. When she came to me, she was 9, and she doesn't mind me telling you this. She could not read, write, or spell. Okay, but she was real hooked on audiobooks already from her mom, because her mom is a homeschooler. Gladys Schaefer. Okay, Gladys. Yeah, so Molly. So yeah, so when they're all about this, so they wouldn't mind me telling. But so anyway, now Molly is a student at the University of North Alabama, and she's in the student government, and she's lots and lots of other things. And UNA pays her to teach students writing in the Writing Center. How cool is that? And she writes her own music. That's what Peter Pan, if you Google it, you'll get to see her singing when she was about 16. It's a coffee house, and she's singing her song she wrote that if you listen to it, you'll hear about the audiobooks that she'd learned about pirates and fairies and treasure ships and treasures, and it's in her song, and she just did so fabulously. And a lot of it's because my third magic key about audiobooks. I would ask Molly when we were working back then, I would say, Molly, how did you know that? And she would say, the magic of audiobooks. And then the other thing that I would tell her that she would always laugh is I would say, like on About the Silent G, I would say, the history of the world is hiding in spelling. And she and her friend, they would always just roll their eyes like this crazy language. But it's true. It's hiding in the history of the world. It's hiding. And so that silent letter is there for a reason. It's because this root word from the language it came from, like Old English, would have been here. Who else has a word?
Combination.
Okay, good. Combination. And now who has one like, good, what's yours? Good, and what silent letter do you have? B. How cool is that? So what if you bring those up? Is there, what other word could be? What if it was combined? Would the B come out of the closet on that one? Now how cool is that? So to help them to see this about words, and so here is like on paper plates, DYS. DYS means trouble with, okay? And because it has a Y on the inside, we know that it's from the Greeks. And how were they dressed in the First Olympics? And so this means trouble with, and lex means words, and EO means this is a condition of some sort. And it's a noun. So help them to see this. But now this is what I have. I'm so sorry to tell you. But I have. This makes me because I don't always do well. And my daughter will call me and say, Mother, you don't put that on Facebook. Like hippos, we saw hippos mating in Africa. She said, Mother, you don't put that on Facebook.
And your amygdala went.
So in things other like parts of words, like to put like tela means far away. Okay, it means far. And so and phone is Greek because it has PH in it. We're gonna learn that in a program. I'll show you that. And it's always in Greek and it has PH. How cool is that to know? So what about it? And it means sound. So what is a telephone? This means far away and it's sound. It's sound from far away. And words often it's like backwards, far away sound. It's kind of like you want to put it this way, sound from far away. So what if you had viz or vid that means to see? What about television? What do you sing? What does that mean?
Sing from far away.
Yeah, good. So what about this one? Do we like people who do this? So they're trying to take you to the, and I need an over here, but I don't have it. They're taking you to the market from far away. Yeah, so, and so if you could have, and scope means to look. So what is a telescope? Yeah. And then if I go to scope, what if we have a microscope? You're looking at something that is small. And what about oto means ear? Otoscope, looking in your ears. And the doctor puts that little thing in your ear. And this is our favorite one. Endoscope. Not the favorite scope. But, you know, to help them to get the point of words, and you can throw them. You know, you can throw them and you talk about them. Let's see, where are we? Oh, and I put here, I put two words. Oh, yeah, I did get one. There's fire and emergency learning. They're not on your handout. But those are two homeschool programs
that I would really recommend. I don't know about y'all's working, but what these are, they're Orton-Gillingham based. They're multisensory, and they're especially designed for people who are struggling students, and maybe with dyslexia, but really just struggling in any way. I think they would be excellent if y'all wanted to look at it. And so the iBridge, you already got that. And I like to tell students to trust the letters, because sometimes some of y'all have students that they look at it and then they look up and they're trying to remember it. Have you ever noticed that? I don't know, where they might look away from the word and they're trying to just remember it, and the word is not written out there. You know, what you need to do is trust the letters, to really look at them, and they'll tell you the word. And this crazy syllables game is something you could order off the internet. You would go to these smart concepts, but it's something that helps if you have a student that especially needs, that it's fun and it just teaches you to zoom in on the vowel. It's like playing Uno or something, but you're having to look at the vowel or the outside letters, the consonants. You can match, like you can play a card that has the same vowel or the same outside, like rib. They could play an I on top of rib, or they could play Rob if they have the R and the B. Yeah. So it gets your eye used to looking inside, outside, and it's really useful. It's really good if you need something at that level. And then they go up to harder words. But that's just something I think can be good. Okay. And that's just more words that you could do the iBridge with. Okay. If it's not, this is like really important. Phonological. How many of y'all are concerned about the spelling or the reading of somebody? Okay, so this is what is phonological awareness. Oh, can you show me again? Is that right? Yeah, if you have some concern. All of this is especially, and that thing about throwing the words. This is like the magic key. I like to tell them that your hand, this is your tool. And the cool thing is do you always have your hand with you? Yeah. So you can always let this word out with your hand. And so phonological awareness is crucial for reading and spelling, which it means that you can play with sounds in your head. And so, this is one of the things I'll send you as a list, just some ideas that I've put together about phonological awareness. But what if I was gonna just throw this, and if we were gonna say, like, I'm gonna say rat, okay? So I want you to say rat without the r. Yeah, do it again? Good. Okay. What if I say baseball, and I want you to say baseball without base?
Baseball.
Good. Baseball, and can you leave off base and what's left? And
Ball.
Good. Yes. Awesome. And let me do another one. This time I'm going to do something else I'd like to do that I forgot to do. Let's do sunshine. Let's not do that one. Let's do sunset. Let's do sunset. Okay? And now which ones, if I have sun and set, really I want you to start left to right like the direction you read. Sunset. Now, whichever one said set, I want you to put it behind your back. Set. So what's left? Sun. Good. So that's a way to make it physical if somebody was not getting it. Okay, and I'm going to make, and so, but you got it. But I want to say, if you didn't, what if we say, can you do another one? Can you do fishbowl? Say fishbowl.
Fishbowl.
Now say fishbowl without bowl.
Fish.
Good. Yeah, so we didn't have to do that, but we could have if it had been tricky. Good. Now I'm going to make who wants a really hard one? I'm going to get it harder. What if we say table? Let's all say, hey Missy, can I throw you? They kind of just go, oh, whoa.
Remember, don't call on me unless I
I shouldn't have done that.
Okay, I can try. I can do this.
And we're gonna go in steps. Okay? Say table.
Table.
Good. Now I want you to say table, but if this is tricky, I'm going to do something. I want to do it. Say table without saying.
Without the book.
And so if that's tricky at all. Oh, good. You didn't even need my help.
Whoops, sorry.
Okay. If it had been hard, I want want to show you what we have done, but Mr. You did that. If we had A. But if we were gonna, if it was tricky, because a lot of times that's tricky. Okay, they'll say tay, or they'll say tay. Because what happens with dyslexia or just any struggling, I mean, most people are never diagnosed anyway, so 90% are never diagnosed. And 1 out of 5 people is dyslexia. So, but anyway, but you have something like bull, that B and that L are so together, and it's like hard to unglue them. And so so they might say tay, or they might say tay. I mean, might keep the B, but everything else goes, it was attached. But, so what I would do, just pretend like you had trouble. And so I want you to say table and pull it down this time. Table. And so what did this sign say? Table. So we didn't take away anything on that side, right? Mm-hmm. But so we took out the B. So let's let bull out of this hand in sounds. Let's say bull. Good. Now get rid of the B. So what's that? Yeah. So now put table. That's how I would deal with it had you not been such an excellent student. And so, but making it physical. What about like if my word is going to be like, who wants this? Can I give you one? What if the word is flap? I mean, I want you to say flap, like I will flap my wings, flap.
Flap.
Good. Now can you say flap without saying
Flap.
good, yay. And if it had been hard, let's say what we would have done. If it had been hard, we're going to say, and if you had said, but if you just said app, if you said app, because I want to protect your amygdala and keep your brain feeling happy and safe, if you said app, I would say, you got the ending. Or I'd say, you got 2 sounds. That's what I would say. Y'all who were here before. You got 2 sounds. Let's check that beginning. Let's check it on your hand. I mean, I might not say let's check the beginning. But you got 2 sounds. Let's check it on your hand. Let's let flap out of your hand. Is all good? Flap. And now which one said, can you get rid of it? So what do you have left? Flap. Good, yay. So you got it anyway. But that's what it's all about, putting it on your body. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, and if it's not fun for you, it's not fun for them. That was when I was in school, that one of my professors, Loretta Brown, always said, and it's so true, it's got to be fun. We talked about duck talk and the map. Then, so I would, like with these, I might do a lot of like Montana, you know, or like, let's do Montana. Montana. But what was this little? Montana. So good. What if we say Montana and leave off Montana? So that's phonological awareness. Okay, just so you're taking out pieces. The smaller piece you take off, the harder it is. Like, so that's why like sidewalk without side is easier because it's compound word. But turkey without is a lot harder. And it's not even a word. What would it be? Turkey. Yeah. So, and so, but just playing with them or walking out the syllables like California, walking them out. And so it's just a way, you can use this with anything. Do it with cooking, do it with building, do it with every subject. And, speaking of, the key to life is to connect whatever your student loves to do. Like, what did somebody love to do?
Acting.
Acting. Acting, yes, acting. So if school was all about acting, would it be more fun? Yes, right. And so I want to make sure everything you do about like acting. You know, like Jay Leno, I think I heard him. He was here a week ago, and he's dyslexic, and like I think it was Jay Leno that said about one of his teachers let him be the joke, you know, make up. He was getting in trouble with making up stuff, being a class clown, which you would think, and the teacher let him do that as part of his work to entertain the class for a set period of time. And so, you know, and we want to put stuff to what you love. So if you were studying Shakespeare, well, not even if you were studying Lewis and Clark, I want you to you could maybe make up a play about it and act out what you had to know. Or if it was math, you could make up a play about the equation. I mean, that's weird. But you could act it. Couldn't you think of something you could do? You could dress up like a something, an angle, right? You could. But if it's gymnastics or if it's guitar or if it's anything, just if you make it connected to what they love, that keeps their brain happy. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And it's going to work. Do you already know that? You probably already know that. But and if you do it like cooking. You know, attach cooking to, you know, you have a pizza and you're going to have percentages or fractions or whatever, and just make it fun. Okay, this onset rhyme, this elision, that's what we were just doing about words without, and I'll email you a lot more about that. The thing about onset rhyme, that means like the onset of the word is like, it's this, I would say, okay, what if I'm going to say the word is back, okay, we're going to get the word back. The onset is book. What's the rhyme is the rest of it. So if the word is back and I say book, and I want you to say the rest of it. Oh, well, that's too hard. Not you. Good. So that's just another one of these things, and I'm going to send you on that. And movement through space, like if you were on a swing, and if you were swinging, or swinging your child, or just moving, and do syllables with the swinging, moving through space with syllables, you know, and if it's hard words, all the better. And, okay. I'm just putting here like the word cologne, just making up tricks to spell cologne. I might do, can we do, because cologne is a weird word to spell, isn't it? Really weird. So let's do it on our arm. Cologne, as far as the real saying of it, cologne. But what if you were going to spell it like cologne? I mean, I just made that up, but you know, it gives the letters. Does that make sense? Cologne. For cologne. And they just know it's really cologne. Or like Wednesday, it's just two, but Wednesday. Just making up tricks to make it work, but connecting with your body. And word detective, this I so much want to do. Okay, this is fabulous, and it's life-changing. And Misty, you know that, yeah. And it's, so you can order this, but I'll need to send you the phone number, because like Misty's been trying to find it for 6 months, and I'll send you the phone number, or if you live near me in Hoover and you want to, I could, it's $25. I bought several of them. That's what I would just, that's what you'll pay, but you'll pay shipping and handling. You send it to them.
Is that the phone number up there?
What's that phone number?
Oh, did I put it in? Oh, I did. Bless me. I forgot I did it. Yes, that's the phone number. Call them. Their website is really hard to deal with. But if you wanted to get training for working with dyslexia, that's where I want you to go. I mean, Nyehouse. It's pronounced Nyehouse. It looks like Newhouse, but it's pronounced Nyehouse. It's wonderful. It's in Texas. That would be my first choice if you want to go get training. 2 weeks for 2 summers, and then online and stuff in between. But yeah, phone number, call them. $25. That's good. But let's do a little of it. But this would help you to be a better reader, writer, and speller, and thinker, and comprehender. This is for anybody that's got stuff in it. Like in this, it's going to teach you how to recognize if an English word is from Old English, Latin, or Greek. And you will just get where you know it. Just like when you see a word with rhyme in the middle, you know. And you know they were. So that was from here. And another thing here, if any time a word has WR in it, WR word, it's always Old English, and it's always been something to do with twisting. So what are some WR words? What? Wrinkle, twisted skin. Yeah, I'm a poor wretch. And God's face of wrath. And writing. And your wrist wrinkles. And a wreath, what about a wreath? Twist it, you twist the pieces of a wreath. It's always going to have to do with that. And another cool thing in here is like CH. There are 3 sounds that CH can make. Okay? And I'm going to show you something on the map first. Whatever you do, I'm gonna want you to like get down on it. Like, and this I would use my world map. Well, I have a twister out here just thinking, again, you could just put cards on it, you can play twister. You know, anything, shoot baskets, dribble basketball, do anything that you like. Because if you're doing something, for one thing, you're happy, dopamine is happening in your brain, which makes you even happier, and you get a memory chip in your brain from that dopamine if you're happy. So we want that to happen. Plus, if you're playing and doing, are you doing that magic triangle? Would you be seeing if you were playing something you like while you're studying out loud? Would you be seeing? Would you be talking and hearing? Would you be touching and moving? Would you be thinking? So that's that major triangle. And what is Helps law again? Neurons that
Fire together, wire together.
Yes. So with this book, it's a program. You would make some cards. Like I make it. You're going to be figuring out hints, and then the hints for the hints. So that's why I have two different sides, and it will tell you exactly how to do it in the book. But let's say that we're going to talk about Old English for a second. So I would get my student down on the map and get them to find England, because we're going to talk a little bit about four clues that might have something from Old England. So we can say, okay, here's Old England, and I'm going to put 3 people here, because they had 3 different ways to get their food. Like hundreds of years ago, before you could go to a store or buy it from anybody, get it from anybody, how could you get your food? What are the 3 jobs? Farming, yeah. Hunting, yeah, farming, hunting, and fishing. Yay! So they were farmers, hunters, and fishers, and so they talk about that. And their words are going to be plain because they were just in survival. You know, and so they're not talking about chemistry. They're not talking about electromagnetism, because they were talking about food and just the plain words. So then what you would have 4 clues, and the first clue, you're going to just figure out what these are, what numbers they are, and then we're going to stop. The first clue is if it's a name of a farm, forest, or ocean animal, it's going to be Old English. Would you just hold it up so you can see that? That's one clue. Most of the basic color words are Old English, because they would have a red fish maybe, or an orange carrot. Number words from 1 to 1,000, and outer body parts. Okay, so now, then your student you would give them these cards. They're going to have to figure out which is number 1, 2, 3, 4. They're going to actually write those words on a list of clues for Old English, and there are 25 clues. So it would take like 6 days to do all of Old English. So what if you had arm, feet? Oh my gosh. Somebody else wrote this one. Arm, feet, and leg. That's funny. My real one, which is these, I have it right, is arm, foot, and leg. So which clue is number 1 of yours? Good. So what if you hold that up? Yay. Body parts. Outer body parts. Shrimp, pig, and fox. Which clue is number 2? Who has animals? Shrimp, pig, and fox. Okay, so we have our animals. Good. So, and then like red and green would be a clue. So is that it? Color words. We got color words. Okay. And then 20 and 1, the color of the numbers. Good. So then your student would have a piece of, they would have a worksheet. This is the end of lesson 1. Okay. Although you would have spent a little more time on it, because you would talk more about the fishing and hunting. And it tells you, it's just a little bit. It's not like a lot. But then they would have their sheet, and this is so much fun. People love this because you learn stuff that's so interesting. And they're just going to say, okay, like the word 10, all of these are going to be Old English, so I'm going to put O-E and say Old English. And I don't remember which number we were doing, but if you were 4 then, so they would put a 4 here. So they would just look at their little list, and they know that 10, oh, that's Old English because it's a number word. Yeah. And then what if they had a word like waist? Your waist. Yeah, so they put as an outer body part, they put number 1 or whatever word. And then, like, if they have the word goat, they're going to say, oh, then, yeah, they have to put the animal, whatever the number is. And if they have, like, black, they have to put the color. So it doesn't seem like such a big deal, just those 4, but it's cumulative. You have 25 of those clues for Old English, then you have 16 for Latin, and then you have 10 for Greek. And what happens because of this is that the student learns to pay attention to what's in the word as they care. Because like the Latin clues on the first 4, one of them is anytime that TI says it's from Latin. So all of a sudden, the student will underline the TI and say, oh, that's a TI. You know, and they start caring about that TI. Or if it was a CI, if it was a person, you know, that they would underline the CI and say, oh, I know that's a person, CI-SAN or CIAN. Or like a Greek clue is anytime it has a PH in it. So again, they're so excited to say, oh, PH, they underline PH. Or a silent P, like in psychology, oh, silent P. It's like, or Y in the middle, make it. So they underline it, they get it, it makes you care. So about the 3 sounds of CH, and I'll stop on this, because we've kind of done everything, sort of. Yeah, except for one thing. And the rest of that is the throwing strategy. But there are only 3 things CH can say, and you learn this. CH can say ch. And then it's Old English, because those are plain words like chair. And outer body parts, cheeks and chin. Plain words, Old English. Ch. How cool is that? Lunch, they ate lunch. But if CH says sh, like in chef, like the chef, that's French, because they were so fancy. So anytime it says sh, it's French, it's from French, which is probably related to the Latin, like Charlemagne, like champagne.
And moustache.
Oh yeah, moustache. Yeah, it's going to be, yes, gauche. Is it only CH? And then if it says like chemistry and chaos, and it's always Greek. Because the Greeks, and it'll teach you this in a book, but it makes it make sense as kind of history, that the Greeks were scientists and they were doctors. So, or if it's a long word with a K in it, like skeleton, it's Greek because they were doctors. But if it's a short word K, it's Old English because a short K were like key and king and keep and kill. Those words were Old English. And it's because that's what they did. Does that make sense? In church. So the CH is, so it's just cool, and it's fun to know more than everybody else. And you're scared of will and you will. Because especially if you're a struggling reader or speller, this is teaching it as a thinking subject. And they're great at thinking. Reading and spelling might be tricky, but they are the best thinkers. And so this is teaching to their strength. And they are going to be the star of the show. And so it's pretty cool. So, but thank you so much for being here.